Are you new to the faith and you're trying to figure out how to read the Gospels? You're confused by the different narratives of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Today on the Midweek Move, I'm going to show you guys the one resource I recommend to everybody that they need to have in their library when they start out to read the Gospels as a whole. Hello and welcome to the Midweek Move podcast, Stitch in the Healing Place, the podcast where we examine the scriptures in context and ask ourselves what is happening here. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of a special interlude episode. We are in the middle of making some changes to the show as a whole, shifting some things around, some formatting and whatnot. And so we're doing a couple of series of like just mini episodes that kind of fill the gap, if you guys will, until we're ready to launch with the brand new show as a whole. But until we get to that point, I wanted to do something specific. We have been talking about a very specific tool that we use here on the show time after time. You guys have heard Carlos and I talk about it a lot. And it's a tool that we use to be able to understand the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, in context together. Now, we've talked about this over the years. This is called the Synoptic Gospels. It's one story told from four different perspectives. And when you approach it, especially if you're new to the scriptures, it can get confusing. You can sometimes get lost in what's taking place as you try to connect the dots from gospel to gospel. I'll never forget, there's a story I heard. I have no idea where it came from. I don't know who said it originally, but I heard the story once about this youth pastor. He was doing a Bible study. He had this new person come in, and it was a sweet young lady who was she's new to the faith. She's never even owned a Bible before. And they were starting a Bible study on the Gospels. So they start off with Matthew chapter 1. She read it. She came back the next week. She's like, look, I've read all four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I got so excited. This is amazing. I've never heard anything like this. He's like, that's amazing. That's awesome. How did it go for you? She's like, well, it was really cool. It's a fascinating story, but I just have one burning question I don't understand. And he's like, well, what's that? Why do he keep coming back, and why do they keep killing him? She thought Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were four distinct different events, not one story told from four perspectives. And so again, it's a silly illustration, and if it's true, God bless that young lady. I know when I first came to faith, there were things I just didn't understand. But there's this one tool that I love so much, and it's one that I really recommend for people, and that's this right here, A Harmony of the Gospels. This Bible resource here is absolutely amazing. This one, I believe, is in the New American Standard Version. There are other ones out there. There's one in the New International Version. I think I saw one in the CSB. The Chosen apparently put out a version of it. I haven't seen what that one is. But this tool, this resource right here is absolutely amazing. And as I kind of open up and look at it, you guys, I'll have some stuff here on the screen for you guys to see, some B-roll of it. But it lays out the Gospels next to each other, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And it lays it out in a way so that it's one seamless story, one seamless work of literature, so you get a bigger picture. And this is a big deal. This is something that we need as a whole in studying the scriptures. The first main reason for it is it helps to provide chronological clarity for us. When you look at the scriptures and you begin to read through, say, the book of Mark, like what we just finished here on the show, which again, if you're new here, go check out our whole study on the book of Mark. We have a whole playlist for you guys. But Mark is very short, and there's things that we're missing. And we talked about in the last several weeks of covering Mark that there are some people that had some objections to the scriptures because they read Mark, but they felt like there were things that were contradictory in other Gospels. Well, when you realize they're lined up correctly in chronological order, no, they weren't contradictory. They were complementary, or it was a whole nother moment altogether. So having this tool helps you to have a clear picture of the full life of Jesus. Another great aspect of it is the side-by-side comparison, because it's four different perspectives, you see things in a very different lens of looking at the same stories side by side. When you go from somebody, say, like Matthew, who was a tax collector, and he was pretty detailed at certain things, but also he was an actual follower of Jesus. He walked with Jesus, versus, let's say, the testimony of Luke, who wasn't a follower of Jesus. He didn't know Jesus personally, but he was a physician who was sent to study what was taking place, and he got the testimony of everything. And the way that Luke records history versus Matthew's are interesting, and they give you a fuller scope. Then you look at John, who is one that, the disciple that Jesus loved. He was considered to be probably Jesus' best friend during his earthly ministry. And he comes at the stories of Jesus from a very relational aspect. So when you look at those stories together, you have four very different perspectives, but they make Jesus less of a flat 2D individual, but more of a 3D person with complexities of personality, of speech. And we begin to see Jesus not just as, again, just a person we read in a book, but a living being, our holy Savior, that we can know personally through these scriptures. These two things put together are one of the main reasons why I love this book so much. I have used this for years, and you guys can get it in a variety of places. I believe you can find it on Amazon for like $20. I think you can find it on Logos. I'll try to find some information for that, put it in the show notes for you guys before. But if you guys are looking for a great resource and you're beginning your walk with Christ, or maybe you're walking with Jesus for a long time and you're wanting to rediscover, you want to look at the Gospels in a new, fresh way, pick up one of these books and use this as a great resource and study tool. Hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of mini episode about talking about resources that we have. Love to hear from you. What's your favorite resource for studying the scriptures outside of the Bible? Okay, yes, I understand. The Bible's the greatest resource you can have. But what's a great study tool that you love to have? Leave a comment and let us know. Don't forget, guys, that this is an extension of the Healing Place here in Shreveport, Louisiana. We're a real-life church that meets on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock every Sunday and on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you're in the Shreveport Bossier area, we'd love to have you here. For more information about the Healing Place, visit our website, thpshreveport.com. And don't forget, if you guys have questions, you will need prayer, email us. mediahub@thpshreveport.com is our email. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys so much. And we cannot wait to launch I don't want to say a rebirth, but just kind of a refresh and a restyle of what we do here at the Midweek Move. We really believe it's going to encourage you, challenge you, and it's going to help you see things in some great new ways. Until next time, have a great week.